Well, for a huge number of Aussies living with chronic back pain, it can be a distressing part of daily life. 1 in 6 live with the condition, costing the health system over $1 billion a year. But what if the cure lies in your head?
According to a new study in the Journal of the American Medical Association, retraining the brain is the solution to managing back pain, and simply moving more helped eradicate discomfort in the 200 patients involved in all the trials. For more, we are joined by senior physiotherapist at Elite Spinal Physio, Elisha Renton. Good morning to you. How on earth does this work?
Well, it's quite interesting actually, and retraining the brain's a hot topic in the physiotherapy and pain world at the moment. But the important thing to understand is that those two studies actually go hand in hand. So retraining the brain and restoring spinal mobility and normal movement is actually very, very closely linked. So you can't really do one without the other. So when we get patients come into our clinic, we're basically wanting to look at what's the cause, so what's causing the pain, and how we can gradually restore that movement over time. So I brought my little friend here, which is sitting up quite nicely there. So you can see here, I mean, you've got your spinal disc, so the intervertebral disc, and then you've got your spinal nerves coming out to the side and your facet joints here. So basically, these discs here are what we call an avascular part of the body, so they don't have a large blood supply. So they rely on movement to encourage hydration of the disc, to keep it pumped up, and to keep that hydration in there. So when you get a dehydrated disc from not enough movement, it's almost like a flat tire, and it's like that tire is bulging out to the side, and then it can push on things like the spinal nerves, irritate the facets. So you need that movement to encourage hydration. Now, when we're looking at retraining the brain, we're usually looking at doing that for someone who's got what we call chronic back pain. So someone that's had pain for longer than 3 months. So the way we retrain, essentially, when someone first gets an injury, the brain basically receives a signal that there's a problem, and it's a protective mechanism. However, in some people, this can go wrong. So the nervous system, so the nerves that come out the side and going up to the brain, can become too sensitive. So even with the smallest movement or aggravation, they feel pain. So what we need to do as physios is gradually restore that movement at the right pace.
So if you start treatment like this, how long will it take to get rid of some of that chronic pain? Can it get rid of it completely?
Well, it can. So the study that you mentioned, Nat, they've reported improvements at 6 weeks. The patients were doing quite well, so significantly better at around 12 weeks. And even when they checked in on them at the year mark, they were still doing really well. And this is very much in line with what we see with our patients in the clinic as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's great news. And the power of the brain, it's amazing, isn't it?
Exactly.
And how it can all relate, all connect.
Yeah, I mean, when I was asked to talk about this, I thought, well, we could talk about this all day. It's very, very complex. And, you know, the way the brain can change is very, very complex, but we'll have to speak about that at a few hours.
It is so complex, though.
And your trusty friend back.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Who said we were spineless? Thanks, Elisha.
We'll say the name Kanye West, and most people will have an opinion on the rapper.